They were the most iconic songwriting duo in music history. But behind the scenes, Paul McCartney and John Lennon's bond was quietly crumbling. What began as an unstoppable creative partnership ended in bitter silence, legal battles, and one final betrayal that nearly shattered their legacy forever. Paul McCartney and John Lennon were once inseparable, a force of musical genius that transformed the Beatles into a global phenomenon. But as legendary as their collaboration was, it wasn't immune to tension. In fact, their partnership was one of the key elements that unraveled during the band's dramatic breakup. Their story began in 1957 at a church fair where the two teens met and quickly began writing songs together. According to McCartney's memoir, The Lyrics, 1956 to the present, they had an instinctive understanding of each other's creative minds. When one got stuck on a lyric or melody, the other stepped in with the perfect fix. Their dynamic pushed each of them further than they could have gone alone, creating some of the biggest hits in modern music. Even years later, McCartney couldn't help but reflect on just how special that partnership was. In a 2001 interview with Rolling Stone, he shared how surreal it felt to look back and realize he was the one who wrote songs with Lennon. To him, it was the kind of achievement that defined a lifetime. But as the Beatles rose higher, internal fractures began to form. Arguments erupted over who would manage the group, how their finances should be handled, and which creative direction to pursue. And underneath those professional tensions lay something far more personal. McCartney began to feel increasingly shut out as Lennon grew closer to Yoko Ono, bringing her into the studio, involving her in their work, and eventually prioritizing their relationship over songwriting. What was once a sacred musical bond now felt distant and replaced. Tensions came to a head in late 1969 when Lennon, frustrated with the band's musical direction and feeling creatively boxed in, decided to walk away. He announced his departure privately, but at the time, fans were left in the dark. The final blow came months later when McCartney, in promoting his first solo album McCartney, hinted at the group's split in a press Q&A. That quiet suggestion broke the news Lennon had been asked to keep secret. From there, things escalated. McCartney took legal action against the other three Beatles, filing a suit in London's High Court to dissolve the band's business partnership. The move drove an even deeper wedge between him and Lennon. Their relationship, once built on trust, creative fire, and mutual admiration, had become cold and hostile. And while both men would go on to create music apart, the heartbreak of their fractured friendship remained one of the most painful chapters in Beatles history.